today on Western Sports Roundup, meet a man who broke down a lot of racial barriers in the 60s, 70s, and then became a legend, specifically known for his longevity and his love for the game of rodeo.
And we're going to head outside the rodeo arena and onto the ski slopes. Well, some man-made ones anyway. We're talking a little bit of skijoring, and we're going to break down this awesome art.
And the PBR made great tribute, retiring a world champion that everybody knows very well as Captain America. The tribute and story of Cooper Davis coming today.
Davis has the potential to just chew this bull up.
There it is, a dynamic
Well, we're back in our Cowboy Channel studios today for this Thursday edition of Western Sports Roundup. I'm Katie Lucas here with Justin McKee. Full variety hour today. We're going to talk a little skijoring. We're going to remember a true legend in the rodeo world. And we're going to talk about the National Western in Denver as well to kick things off.
That's right. Last weekend it started off, but we are talking about the official start of the PRCA competition. Bracket 1. They continue to renovate the entire complex around the National Western. That's the new headquarters building. And my goodness, the National Western Stock Show has been around for over 133 years. And look at that. That building is spectacular. We're getting you ready because we're going live on the Cowboy Channel tonight right here. We'll kick off the tournament live and in person.
And very fitting, Justin, they've called that building the Legacy to truly help solidify the legacy of the past of the National Western Stock Show and Rodeo and help propel them into the future. And here's what our near future looks like on the Cowboy Channel tonight at 9 Eastern. Bracket 1, round 1 kicks things off. There's a lot of brackets at play, a lot of competition, a lot of steps that the contestants go through at the National Western to get the title, and we're going to bring it all to you right here on the Cowboy Channel.
And as the National Western is kicking off, Odessa continues with their second weekend beginning tonight. I'm glad the weekend starts early like this here in rodeo. And Odessa had a big slack. They call it Super Tuesday for the team ropers with a lot of competition, including Dustin Egaskiza and J.C. Flake, taking the early lead at the Sandhills Stock Show and Rodeo.
Jump these guys. Here we go.
So you're coming down the ramp, and he's coming. Here he comes.
Put it in gear.
What?
Here we go.
Here he goes.
Here we go.
All right.
84.
Everybody look out. Here we go. Whoa!
Whoop.
What on earth are you doing?
Whoop.
Do you know what you're doing?
Maybe one of you needs to leave. Just one.
You're looking at one of the greatest cowboy Elvises ever in the history of rodeo. That is 10-time PRCA Clown of the Year, Justin Rumford, entertaining at the Sandhills Stock Show and Rodeo. And now he is live in person on Western Sports Roundup. Justin, I know you've been very busy out in Odessa. Thanks for taking the time to visit with us.
Good to be here. Good to be here.
Hey, Odessa is a very special place. I know you love rodeo. I hear you talk on Rum Chat all the time. You believe you're rodeo's biggest fan. Tell us why somebody should love Odessa as much as you do.
Well, so one thing I love about Odessa, I love the first of the year. You know, the January part is one of the most exciting because all the people that didn't make the NFR last year, they're hungry for it. All the people that did make the finals last year, they're ready to go again. And every year this time we get to see the new crop of kids and rookies that are coming along and ready to rodeo. So I love January. These rodeos are amazing, especially in Odessa. Odessa has got such a great combination of diehard rodeo fans and people that like to party. And you put that all together in this Coliseum, it's an electric atmosphere. We got Benji Bindley here, one of my favorite sound men. We got Hall of Famer Randy Corley. I like to, keep him in line every now and then, but it's just been great. Benny Butler, great set of stock. We had D&H bulls all weekend on the first weekend. So the stock has been great. The rodeo action has been great. Tons of slack. Benny Butler still makes me come and help in slack. So I sorted team rope and steers from 5 o'clock until 9 o'clock yesterday morning, which I still got it. So it's been a full rodeo week here in Odessa.
And you mentioned being excited to see the new rookies that are trying to step out and make a statement in 2026. But you told me on the hard-hitting news side of things, there's some veterans that you were excited about too.
Oh, man, I tell you, Bray Arms in the steer wrestling, he won around. Bray's one of my favorite guys. You know, he's one of the actual guys that I steer wrestled with years and years ago, and I believe he's 42, and his daughter's roping and his wife hazes, and he's just a great guy and a cool he's a cool throwback. He's one of the old steer wrestlers. He was out in the parking lot the night before slack playing pitch. So it's cool to see Bray, the older generation that's still hanging on, and the new kids that we got coming up. One guy that I'm thinking for the NFR next year, one of my favorite new guys is from Thermopolis, Wyoming, Roddy Farrell, a great bareback rider. It's so cool to see him. I think he's out Saturday night here. He's one that I'm watching. I think he's going to go to the finals this year. So there's a lot of the new kids, though. I like to watch. I like to see who's going to do good. But we got a lot of talent coming up in all the events this year.
Hey, speaking of talent, Wacy Shala had a great opening there last weekend, the first weekend of Odessa, as we move into the second weekend. But Boudreaux Campbell, first performance, goes 90. That was a heck of a good way to start off with the first performance last week.
Oh, yeah, that was a great bull. D&H, you know, Dylan and H.D. Page, that bull was called Sour Patch, and that is a buck and sucker. Boudreaux actually had him a week earlier at a PBR, and it slammed him. And Boudreaux got here. He was looking for a little get even, and he said that he's just going to pro rodeos this year. And Boudreaux, he is just an amazing guy, and he really wants it. He's ready to get back to the Thomas and Mack. So that was awesome. And I just loved Wacy Shala the other night in the bareback riding. That horse, Benny Butler just actually bought from Dakota Rodeo, Tyson Fowler and Joe Simon. That horse, Guitar Town. Actually, Rocker Steiner won the long round at Austin on that horse last year when Dakota had him. So Benny and Red have put a lot into building their herd, bucked a lot of great horses, and there's a whole lot more to come. So it's also been cool to see the new livestock. You know, I've talked about the kids and the contestants coming up. We got a lot of new horses and bulls. There's a lot of bulls without names yet, which is a good sign there in Odessa with no names, because that means they're about to be something cool. So on the rough stock side of things, it's been great. Of course, Statler Wright, you know, he was 80-something the other night. Trey Benton was 84. So Trey's back, you know, broke his leg and kind of been through some stuff, but he's back rodeoing with his two little boys, and it's just good to be rodeoing in January.
You talked a lot about excitement for these elite athletes, both the rodeo cowboys and the horses, but you also get to work alongside two elite athletes as bullfighters as well. Tell me about this trio that we have going on in Odessa, and what's the energy like between the three of you?
Oh, man. So they Nathan Justice is just an amazing athlete. That dude, he could have done anything. He could play tight end in the NFL. He's big, he's strong. He's halfway mean sometimes. And then on the other side, of course, the greatest of all time, Dusty Tugnas, who's been my dear friend and traveling companion for 15 years now. That makes you feel old. Those two guys are so much fun to work with. You know, when you get in this arena and you get to see two guys that love it, they love fighting bulls, they're good friends, they go on vacation together. We all kind of travel in a herd. And you know, one thing I love about Nathan Justice being here, Nate and his wife Bridget, they're like us. They take their kids everywhere. So they got two precious little girls, Channing and Harper Joe. And so we got Livy, Lola, Bandy, Harper, Channing, Bobby, Greg, Cindy. You know, we got the whole Brady Bunch down here. So everywhere we go with the bullfighters, you know, Dusty Tugnas, he's always helping with the kids and grabbing stuff. So we, like I tell everybody, we travel in a herd. It's so good to be working with my friends. They're great people.
Yeah, he's a good Uncle Tuck, that's for sure. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. You've had a real busy week in between these two weekends, and you gave away $3,000. Now, you've given away imaginary money a lot, but
up to a certain amount of money.
Up to a certain amount, yeah. But
these are actual dollars.
This is real?
Oh, yeah. So we got one of the greatest sponsors here in Odessa, Billy Black from Billy Black HVAC. He is a prominent business owner in town, and he loves the rodeo. He loves the rodeo community. So he gives us $1,000 every night to give away. But here's the deal. So when you buy your ticket, you have your ticket. Right after the team rope, and we have one of those big roller things. So if we draw your ticket out and you're sitting in that seat with the ticket, you get $1,000. Now, if no one's in the seat or you don't have the ticket, then that money rolls over. So on night number 3, Saturday night, we got to give a lady $3,000. So it starts again tonight. $1,000 tonight. If it doesn't go tonight, then it will roll till tomorrow. If it doesn't go tomorrow, it rolls till Saturday. Now, here's the kicker. If they don't give it away on Saturday, next year on performance number 1, $4,000. So Billy Black from Billy Black HVAC, him and his Sabrina and his wife and family and everybody involved with that, they come out to the rodeo. They're huge fans. They're great sponsors. And it makes me look cool because, sometimes a clown could be annoying. But when you have $3,000 to $4,000 in cash when you're walking in front of the bleachers, people tend to really start liking you. So I like that part of it.
Justin, you're so known for your quick wit and your ability to really get the crowd going, but you couldn't do it without a great partner. And your partner there in Odessa, Randy Corley, he is celebrating his final year to work that rodeo. What is it like working with a guy like Randy, not just at Odessa, but throughout your career?
Well, I tell you what, I've loved Randy Corley since I was little. I remember some of my youngest memories listening to Randy and Hadley Barrett together. And through the years of working for the Butlers and get to know Randy, I've got to not just be a part of his life in the arena, but we've been friends outside. And him and Michelle have just been phenomenal friends to Ashley and I. And so I've always loved working with Randy. I love making fun of Randy to his face. I've got a really, really good Randy Corley impersonation. In our game of rodeo, we got some great people here tonight. I tell you what, why don't we go ahead and salute our sponsors right now, huh? Randy is,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, he's just been a phenomenal friend, and he's so fun to work with. He's there's not many the rodeo announcers quite like Randy, and I am sad that he's cutting back, but I get it. He's put in a lot of time, and there's only one Randy Corley, and at the end of my career, no matter what happens, I'm going to be so glad to say that I got to work with Randy Corley and Hadley Barrett and guys like that. And so I'm very fortunate to have guys like that make me look good. And there's not many old school guys like Randy Corley left, but we love them.
Yeah, you know what? If you don't love Randy Corley, then it's on you. That's for sure, because he is easy to like. Justin, thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for being such a great ambassador for rodeo in and out of the arena. I get fired up talking to you and continue the good work on Rump Chat, too, by the way, as we always enjoy listening to you.
Well, thank you all so very much, and we hope to see y'all at a rodeo.
Sounds good. Odessa second weekend coming your way tonight. We kick it off here on the Cowboy Channel. That's 11:30 Eastern Time. The Sandhills Stock Show and Rodeo kicking it back into gear here tonight on the Cowboy Channel. Coming up next, a tribute to PBR World Champion Cooper Davis, who is going to hang up the bull rope. And what a beautiful tribute the PBR put together to a very deserving legendary bull rider.
And we're going to hit the slopes. Well, man-made ones anyways. We're going to talk a little skijoring later on Western Sports Roundup. They just wrapped things up, and we're going to look into this interesting and exciting art form.
Western Sports Roundup brought to you by Resistol, the official hat of Cowboys everywhere. We live it every day. Sports Roundup is brought to you by Rock and Roll Denim. Live boldly. Live in Rock and Roll Denim.
Well, the PBR was at Madison Square Garden this last week, and they not only put on a great show, but they announced and made tribute to a world champion in the PBR, Cooper Davis. He's announced his retirement, and we would love to share with you what the fans in New York got to see about the life and times of Cooper Davis.
This video to tell you how proud we are of you and everything that you've accomplished over the past 10 plus years. Anything that you said you were going to do, you did it twice over. You've been a leader for your team, in the locker room, on the dirt, and especially in our household. We could not be more proud of the man you are, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years brings.
Hey Dad, you have taught me so many things over the years. It's better to be a leader than a follower. You've taught me that being humble is one of the key things in life. And I just wanted to say I'm so proud of you for all the things that you've accomplished. You're not Captain America, you're Dad to me.
Love you.
Love you.
You know, he was a PRCA Rookie of the Year, a world champion in the PBR, also a part of the Teams Series world champion last year. But Justin McKee, I think it's safe to say, being a husband, being a father, being a standout person is held very high on Cooper Davis's list of accomplishments.
You don't have to know his story very well to be inspired by this guy. Everything he does is excellent, and everything he does is with purpose, and that purpose is not to win money, which is almost $4 million, but it's to make an impact. I can't wait to see the impact he's going to have in the booth. I know he spent some time in the booth when he was injured, but this guy's a great communicator, and I'm just going to step out and say it. I think that his impact over the next decade or two as a broadcaster is going to be bigger than his impact as a bull rider. And that's saying something because he's had some depth, a lot of it.
When you heard it from his son, Mac, right there, being a leader is clearly something that is very important to their household.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Cooper Davis has been, not just in the arena, as you said, Justin, but outside to his fellow teammates, to his team in the PBR Team Series. He's really been that leader.
And what a way to come out on top. He started off as a rookie in 2015. As a rookie, he won the PBR Finals, and then the next year he won the World Championship, and then he ends, as you said, on a huge note with the team win, and he's only 31 years old. The other thing I love about him is he calls people out on TV, and he's going to do a lot of that. Even if the PBR doesn't necessarily like being called out, he does, and so that's the honesty that I appreciate the most.
Yeah, he's definitely great at explaining the mechanics of bull riding as well.
Good.
So he's not going too far from the PBR arena. We'll still watch Cooper Davis in the broadcast booth, but what a career and
what a tribute.
Yes, great on the PBR for doing such a great job of honoring that legend in their world of rodeo. And that's exactly what we're doing next on Western Sports Roundup. When we come back, we'll remember an athlete, an ambassador, and a man that has left a lasting legacy. We're going to honor Cleo Hearn next.
theme of the Cowboy of Color Rodeo is, let us educate you while we entertain you. This is the thing that makes me tick, and you know, like here the rodeo's getting ready to start. Man, my heart's beating just like I was at my first rodeo. But you're gonna wanna come back and get some more. And when you do, you come back and look for me.
Well, that right there is the very passionate voice of Cleo Hearn. What an amazing cowboy he truly was from beginning to end. He's a Hall of Famer, such an influential man in the world of rodeo, competed until 2017. Really, truly an amazing influence in the world of rodeo. And we're bringing a person here that I think he influenced every day. Harlan Hearn, the son of Cleo Hearn. First of all, so sorry for your loss. You lost your dad back in November, and I'm sure that's been a tough hole to fill in your life.
Yes, yeah, I think for the entire family. You know, it's a void, and rodeo-wise, it's a void that we have to, you can't fill it, you can only continue it. You know, I believe that when a person, you know, when a time comes, you know, God has custom made our boots for us. So when you come with people tell you, well, those are tough boots to feel. You don't feel those boots. The best you can do is take the boots, set them against the wall, and you try to continue in the direction that person was going in. And that's what my brothers and I are doing.
Yeah, it's quite a legacy that Cleo left behind, but before he left that legacy, he started out as an avid rodeo competitor, got his PRCA card back in 1959. What was it about rodeo that Cleo was so drawn to?
It really began with horses. He had a fascination with horses. No one in his immediate family was involved with rodeo or horses, really. And at the age of 9, he went to an all-black rodeo in Boley, Oklahoma, which is, they are, by the way, doing their 123rd consecutive rodeo this coming May. He was 9 years old. He saw cowboys that looked like him. And one in particular was Marvell Rogers. And Marvell was he was a stout man, and he dressed sharp, you know, starched jeans, always wore a white shirt, smoked a cigar. And Marvell smoked a cigar while he was competing. So it was a crowd pleaser, because Marvell, he was a steer wrestler and rode saddle bronc horses, and he'd be on the horse, and every time the horse's feet hit the ground, you'd see a puff of smoke come out of his mouth. So I think that got Dad's attention, and they ended up becoming friends, and Marvell was a great mentor to him at the age of 9. And that's really where it started for him. After that, he figured out how to be around. I think he roped his first calf when he was 16. He had to borrow a horse because he didn't have one. He borrowed one from a gentleman by the name of Roy LeBlanc. And 1959, at about the age of 20, he joined the RCA then, which is now the PRCA.
And from there, I think if there was something that he could do first, that was very motivating for him. He was the first African-American cowboy to rodeo on a scholarship at College Rodeo, the first African-American tie-down roper to win a major PRCA rodeo at Denver in 1970. Do you think that really drove him to really push through and be the first?
It was, you know, with Dad and the guys that were around him at that time, it was not so much being the first, it was about getting the opportunity. You know, they didn't want to conquer the world, but they were cowboys. They wanted to compete at rodeos like everyone else. So I think that was the driving factor. And I've said in the past, Dad and his contemporaries, they paved the highway that a lot of the later cowboys traveled, you know. I tell it, you know, Murtis Dykeman, for example, he was the first African-American in the national finals in the bull riding. Well, he paved the way for Charlie Sampson. It's not a matter of teaching him or training him, although he did work with Charlie. It's about paving the road where it's not there. You know, so that these guys, they were able to compete as rodeo cowboys and not have to overcome the barrier of simply getting in the rodeo. You know, that's what Dad had to deal with that a lot in the early years. It was, I'm here, but I can't get in, you know, or I'm here and I have to rope in the slack when there really wasn't a slack back then. The slack consisted of maybe him and any other cowboy of color that was there. You know, those are the things that they had to overcome. So yeah, in a way, they were first, but it really wasn't about being first, I think, for him.
And he started another road in 1971, then called the Texas Black Rodeo. Now we know it as Cowboys of Color. Why was that so important for him to be one of the founders of?
Well, you take a step back and you go back to 1969 and the American Black Cowboy Association. Dad, Bud Bramwell, Charles Evans, and a couple other guys. They started that association and took a rodeo to Harlem, New York, which that rodeo was made into a motion picture called Black Rodeo. So it began there. They went in '71. They went back to New Jersey the following year. That's what it's about, bringing cowboys together. At that time, the Cowboys of Color, bringing them together and giving them the opportunity to show the world or show the country what they could do. Once we moved to Texas, he just continued and kind of, at that point, he was on his own, producing rodeos. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's about giving the cowboy an opportunity. He wanted the cowboys and cowgirls to have one more rodeo that they could put on their list of possibilities. Mm-hmm. With him, it always started with the cowboy.
There's a special rodeo coming our way as well, the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo. Cowboys of Color is January 19th. It'll be on the Cowboy Channel as well, but the grand entry is going to be a little bittersweet this year because that really sincere, really excited face is going to be missing from that grand entry.
Yeah, well, I mean, the last couple of years, I've ridden in the grand entry on his behalf, mm-hmm. But just his presence will be felt and missed all at the same time because everyone knows that he's not going to be there this year. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be around, so it's going to be an interesting day. Mm-hmm. I think not only for myself and my family, but everyone there. Because this is the 15th year, so this will be our first year without him. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to not have that strong pull, that influence, yes. Because I'm sure he was someone that everyone was so drawn to. But one of the big things you told me that you wanted everyone to know was he was a cowboy from the beginning to the end. What does that mean to you?
You'd have to go back to a quote directly from Dad. He said, "God put me here to be a cowboy." That was a quote directly from him. So from the beginning to the end, he felt that that's why he was here. That's what he was most passionate about. He stayed with it, you know. It was about, like I said, promoting, but not only cowboys, but promoting the Western lifestyle, promoting the sport of rodeo. But he honestly felt God put him here for that purpose.
How do you carry on a legacy like that?
One day at a time. We try to, you know, it's about holding his ideals and his way of doing things, you know, and just taking it to the next step, making it bigger, better, and just keep moving it forward.
I love that. Okay, not some big shoes to fill because no one can fill the shoes of Cleo Hearn. But Harlan, thank you so much for joining me. I hope we did a good job of honoring your dad's legacy. It's hard to get his resume into just a few minutes because he truly was a trendsetter and as you said, a cowboy from beginning to end. So thank you so much for your time today.
It's been my pleasure.
Always great to get to visit with these rodeo families here, and there's some great families that'll be on display. The Cowboys of Color Rodeo coming to the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo and on the Cowboy Channel on January 19th. We'll be back with more Western Sports Roundup next.
Dave Appleton, the Lone Ruin, a guy not only who won the 1988 World All-Around Championship and the first Australian to win a PRCA title, but he's also here on the Cowboy Channel talking quarter horse racing from time to time. Here's a little teaser of part 2 of Dave Appleton.
Competed at Mesquite. I actually placed in the bareback riding. Then we met a guy, one of the other rodeos we went to was the Grand Prairie Trader Village. Behind the buck and shoots there, and a guy walks up and introduces himself. His name was John Paxton. He said, hey, I've got a house. It's me and my wife. It's a big house. It's here in the Metroplex. Where are you guys staying? Oh, we're in a Motel 6 over there. You know, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And he said, y'all come, get out of that place. Come and stay with us. So he gave us their phone number, and we just talked about it a little, so that we rang him up, and he came and picked us up, and we moved in with John and started staying with him. And one day, and he said, you know, you ever thought about going to college? And I'm like, college? And he said, yeah, you can go, you know, you can get a college rodeo team. And I had 2 years of eligibility. Sam Walker said, well, I'll give you $500. And Bob said, well, Dave, I got no money now, but I'll get you money. And I'd already had some pretty good success in the PRCA rodeos. And I said, sounds good. So I enrolled. But I told Bob when we were done, I said, man, I need a job. I said, I got no one to support me but myself. And he asked around and called around. And finally, he called up, he said, well, there's this one old cowboy named Jess Everett. He's kind of tough to work for. I said, I don't care, I need a job. I said, I got to have a job to live so I can keep myself going. And he called up Jess. Here is a cowboy with a horse and a pen going around and around. He is the epitome of a West Texas rancher. Dark rimmed sunglasses, curled up, lots of stain in that hat, about a wad of chew in there. And every time this horse would go past the two of us, I could just see that head of his would just stay just a little bit on me, and then he'd keep going. And he says, ride a horse? Oh, yes, sir, I can ride a horse. He said, you break a horse? Oh, yes, sir, I know how to break a horse. He said, you know much about cattle? Oh, yes, sir, I've worked cattle all my life. Know all about cattle. He said, I don't know why, but I'll give you a job. So he and his wife became like family to me. They had no kids. They became my American family. I rodeoed in '82, had a good building rodeos, then I had a quiet summer. I'd gotten out of college, moved to Stephenville, got hooked up with TJ Walter, and TJ was on the backside of his career. But he said, man, I'll help you. I'll show you how to make the finals. And I owe making the NFR the first time to TJ Walter. We lived together, rodeoed together, and he showed me how to rodeo. And I'll never forget Brett Hoffman saying to me, and Brett Hoffman was the writer for the Fort Worth Star-Telegram at the time, and Brett said to me, he said, you know, boy, you had a good year. He said, what are your goals for next year? And I sort of said, well, how? I said, Louis has been packing this all-around title around long enough. I guess I need to help him out. I said, might as well just try to win all around.
And win it he did. He's still going, and he certainly has had a great impact on the sport of rodeo. The other stories include, hey, I love the conversation that you and I are going to have on this show about Riley Webb's 3P. Stock market report is going to be loaded with horse and bull power. Will meet the Busby Corridor horses as they have an extraordinary story and a whole lot more. And that's this Friday with Inside Pro Rodeo.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to be a part of it. I'm excited. We're going to have a great visit about Riley Webb. Can he make it 4 in a row? Well, we're going to discuss that on Inside Pro Rodeo. But now we want to talk about our American Hats Positive Time story of the week. And I think this is something that a lot of people will feel very positive about. At Rodeo Houston, they have announced the lineup of our performers for the concerts after the rodeos. So I know you go to watch your favorite rodeo athletes, but maybe you plan your trip around the performers that will be after as well.
And I want to say that you look at Tim McGraw and Cody Johnson and Lainey Wilson and even Kelly Clarkson, there's rodeo contacts all over in their personal lives. They really do love the game. They've promoted us, and here's a look at the rest of the performers right there. 7 artists are from Texas. That's going to be headlining down the lower left-hand corner. All kinds of things to look forward to. 28 Grammy Award winners? That's a big number.
Some huge numbers that they've racked up. There will be 12 returning entertainers and 9 new entertainers at Rodeo Houston, 9 Latin Grammy Awards, 70 Country Music Association Awards, The lineup of rodeo cowboys and cowgirls is stacked, but the lineup of entertainers is stacked as well.
That's one of my favorite combinations right there. Rodeo and country music coming together at the biggest palace of them all. So looking forward to Houston coming up. Be here before we know it.
Yeah, March 2nd to 21st. But when we come back on Western Sports Roundup, we're going to head outside the rodeo arena for a moment and head to the slopes. San Juan Skijoring happened over the weekend, and we're going to celebrate the champs next on Western Sports Roundup.
We continue to advance animal health with the help of Vetericen every day on Western Sports Roundup. Here's our top 3 headlines.
And you just heard from Richard Weber himself, the Open champion at the San Juan Skijoring event. He described it in such detail, Justin. I think I want to take up Skijoring now.
Me too. Cooper Davis retires at age 31 from the PBR. He's a world champion. He's world class, and he's headed to the announcer's booth to work on television. We're going to enjoy listening to his expertise for years to come.
And at the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, we're getting closer and closer to the Cowboys of Color Rodeo event, and we got to remember the man that helped put that event together. Cleo Hearn and his son Harlan Hearn was here to remember the legend that is his dad, Cleo.
Yep. We've got a lot to look forward to coming up this weekend that starts tonight here on Cowboy Channel. Of course, it's going to be wrapped in patriotism and Sandhills Stock Show and Rodeo from Odessa. That is going to be live on the Cowboy Channel and the Cowboy Channel Plus app, and big night for Denver.
Yeah, National Western Stock Show and Rodeo kicks off their tournament rodeo now out in Denver, Colorado. Starts January 15th, and they'll get closer and closer to the final Super Saturday, where we've got the 3 semifinal rounds, and then we've got the championship where they hand out those titles there in Denver. One of the first majors of the year.
Yes, it is. Full speed ahead. And also, we've got a few circuit finals that have not completed their year. Montana circuit finals going on Cowboy Channel Plus app. It's streaming on the 15th through the 17th this weekend. A lot to look forward to. Montana's so big. That state has its own circuit, you know.
And don't forget about the First Frontier Circuit Finals. That is coming your way the 15th this evening through the 17th. That's streaming on Cowboy Channel Plus. You can catch all of the action from our circuit finals. And you can't forget just how important those circuit finals can be. You can win a lot of money, not only in your circuit throughout the season, but also at the finals, Justin.
Yeah, that is a fact. That NFR Open pays a lot of money, too. They have a lot of incentive to do great, not just the circuit championship, but getting in that national championship title race, and who knows, that could catapult you in the world standings. Well, for Katie Lucas, I'm Justin McKee. Thank you for joining us for another Western Sports Roundup. I'm going to stick around here. We're going to show you a doubleheader of great rodeo action. Hopefully, you can join us. See you next time.